Hello. Welcome everyone to the first What's New in Estateably for 2025. I'm Hillary. I'm the marketing manager here at Estateably, and we are delighted to have you all join us today. As always, today we've got a top shelf team of speakers and moderators. So I'm going to take a second and let them all introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elsa Kennedy. I am a customer success manager here at Estateably, located in Vancouver, BC. I see quite a few of you have said hi in the chat. It's very nice to see all of your faces, or not your faces, your names, I guess I would say. And welcome to the webinar. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marissa Shaw, Senior Product Owner, and I'm excited to be here today, hear about all the latest features, and I'll be demoing something for you later on.
Hello, everybody. It's Avery. I'm on the customer success team. I'm here in Montreal, enjoying the nice change of weather, and looking forward for all you guys to see what's coming with Estateably.
Hi everyone, I'm Bianca Tataru, one of the product owners here at Estateably, based in Montreal. Thank you for joining and enjoy.
Cool. Thanks, team. So today, the agenda, we're going to be, as you know, showcasing some of our newest enhancements and performance updates and provide a bit of intel about what's coming down the pipe. So Elsa and Marissa are going to be covering lots of different aspects of the platform, but like I said, please use the Q&A throughout, and we can stop and answer some questions if we need to, but we'll definitely have a Q&A session at the end. So we'll cover updates like the updated forms and holdings, lookup, performance improvements, and DecisionVault integration. And then the coming soon is the new holdings list page and calendar integration and the investment statement import. Without further ado, Elsa, Marissa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Hillary. Okay, wonderful. Hello, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go over quite a few new features we have currently available, we've released recently, as well as a few features that will be coming very, very soon. I'm going to go through the list of what we described in our agenda within the slide deck previously. And I'm firstly going to start off with a few jurisdiction-specific updates relating to some forms and letters and maybe some things that will be available to some users at this time, but will be available to the majority of our users going forward very shortly. The first thing that we do like to mention is that we have done some updates to our forms and letters recently to our specific US-based environments for California, New York, Florida, specifically the Miami-Dade county as well. And nothing too fun and exciting to demo there at this time, but I will open our Florida-based demo file here to show you that in our Miami-Dade specific county files, you'll be able to find a nice, very detailed list of the county-specific forms, including those checklists that are applicable to that section there as well. So I did want to note that for anybody who's currently watching in that area, or somebody who may be watching later on in the recorded version of the demonstration. This also links directly to our New York-based environment as well. We did some recent updates previously where we had gone through the process of updating some nomenclature, some wording to account for the distributee versus legatee status of beneficiaries, as opposed to the residual and legacy we had previously. Again, just further customizing some of the features to be able to account for those preferences and the ideal wording for your specific jurisdiction, which, as you can see here, we do have our legatee and distributee statuses in the front end there. And then this will also lead me into another great new feature that we have released recently. We have released this feature where you are actually able to edit documents that you have already generated in your documents section of the platform and have those changes saved directly into the system here as well. So you'll notice here I went directly to the document section. And again, just as a quick note, this is available to everybody at this time. If you find a Word document, specific document you have generated previously, in this case being a petition for probate for the state of New York, once I click on that document there, you'll see a page that now appears allowing you to either view or edit the document. If I do select that edit feature, it will open in Microsoft Word for me as an editable version, as we have allowed previously and as it has worked previously, excuse me. But any changes you make to the document now and save it, they will automatically be saved directly to the platform as well. So this was created and accounted for anybody that may need to save a document in the platform and have other users come and look at the previous version. Those changes wouldn't have been saved. They would have been just on your own computer. And so now that is actually accounted for within the system to hopefully alleviate that change, which is nice. Continuing on here, we have a specific feature for our Ontario-based users at this time. This will be something that will be coming out shortly for the majority of our users, I believe, but we wanted to release it directly to our Ontario users at this time, as it is one of our largest jurisdictions. But we have finally added in, based off of a lot of user feedback, an estate version or an estate type of beneficiary you are now able to add in. As of course, if there's an estate entitled to receive a gift or a residue left over from an estate, but they had predeceased the deceased. As you can see there now, we have added in the estate option. You are able to select that when adding in your contact in the type of beneficiary section. This is good to note as well that it is important, of course, for the Ontario jurisdiction to account for the fact the predeceased beneficiary still does need a contact in here, with the options selected that they are not being served because they predeceased the deceased, because the logic is still built into the forms to properly have them pull into the 74B affidavit of service with that option. So that is a very exciting feature. And again, like I mentioned, it will hopefully be available soon to all of our users across Canada as well as the US as well. Something that's also exciting I would like to note here that we will be going into is actually a performance enhancement that I will show you. And this again is available to everybody. I don't know if anybody has noticed this recently, but in our investment accounts, if you are using our holdings lookup tool when adding a holding directly into your investment account and clicking on the add holding button here, a while ago, it was taking a bit longer to find that information for you, especially if you were looking for those date of death values for specific holdings, and the lookup tool was taking a bit longer than necessary to find that information. But we've actually released an enhancement to this feature recently, where if you were to go in and type in the, again, ticker symbol or the name of the company you're looking for that for, we'll have lots of different exchanges available for you, and it will find that information almost instantaneously for you. So you'll be able to see that date of death price per unit and that current price per unit in both Canadian and US dollars, with the exchange rate as of the date of death pulling in there for you, and as well, of course, as of today's date as well. So finding all those details for you so you can add in your quantity of shares very easily, having all of that math done completely for you. And again, hopefully saving you time, which is our #1 goal, which is great. One other thing I would like to show here, if I'm going in the right order here, again, I'm trying to remember based off of my list. We do have the ability to, read only our archived files now, which is very exciting. So this is currently available for estate cases only at this time, and it will be released additional features for trusts and powers of attorney files. Of course, powers of attorney only being available in Canada, but those will be available shortly. Once you do archive that file, to avoid that yearly charge that comes in for that accounting feature, you are able to find that archived file you would like to read only, so you can view that data. Click directly into the file here, and you'll be able to see immediately, you're able to open it and see all of the information you had entered previously, but nothing is editable. So it does allow for that read-only version. Again, this was something that we received a lot of client feedback for, so it was really great to be able to enable this feature for everybody. So just as a quick overview here, as you can see, I'm unable to add that note. It shows me the type of file I had opened previously. It does have a nice archived name up at the top there, just to ensure you know exactly what you're looking at. And if I do go into the intake section, you'll notice all of the fields are grayed out, so I can't edit anything. You would have to restore it back again to be able to edit anything or generate any additional documents, or also edit any accounting. You are able to still download any of the documents that you can see here. You're able to view them in this section here and open them in editable Microsoft Word documents and save the document directly onto your computer, again, if you prefer. But again, you're unable to edit them directly within the file because you would have to restore it directly within the system if you would like to take advantage of that feature. Another great few things that we have enabled recently is we have coming out soon is a couple integrations actually. One of them relating to DecisionVault. If anybody is a DecisionVault user, our integrations that we have set up currently, I will show you here, you'll be able to find directly in the settings page of the platform, as well as hiding up into the tools section. We have an integrations page up here as well to find. It is good to note that the integrations that will be released, they're most likely available for our core subscription users and higher, because that is a part of the one of the subscription features that you have paid for. And as you can see, when you get to the integrations page here, we'll have a list of everything that we currently have, including that Clio integration we had previously, and the Decision Vault as well. So when you do want to enable that feature and it is something that is exciting for you, you will be able to click on that Decision Vault and go through the process of authorizing your account, basically just logging into your DecisionVault account on the other side to properly link them into the system properly. Just as a quick preview, if this is something new to you, this is what DecisionVault looks like. It is a planning software that we integrate now with, so you can create matters pre-death to be able to pull in contact information, including some deceased information as well, to have those files opened easily in the Estateably platform. Just for the sake of a really quick demo of that, if I were to find this matter here within DecisionVault, you'd be able to see here we have the ability to see all of our different contacts relating to the deceased or the client in this case there. And then if you were to go into the platform and be able to open the file, oh, I apologize, I'm going back and forth to the wrong sections here. You would go into the add new estate function, and then it will allow you to import directly from DecisionVault. You would then go through the process of selecting the matter you have saved in your DecisionVault account. Again, similar to the Clio integration, if anybody does use that feature. Selecting that, allowing you to choose which type of contact you're importing, a beneficiary, executor, or other, and they will populate into the correct places within the file, and also importing all of that intake information. Without going through the entire setup wizard there, I will just show you quickly. I had that same file here that I imported previously just before the demo, and you'll be able to see here it did open correctly. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just had somebody request some captions. I've never seen that before. I did enable them. Hopefully that is okay for my team. Perfect. So I'm going to continue here. We've got the overview. We'll have pulled in that deceased information here again, as saving you the time, not having to enter it. And if we do go into the intake, that information will be saved as well. And all of those contacts will, of course, be saved according to the status you entered them, either a beneficiary, executor, or an other contact as well. So again, hopefully a nice time saver if you are a DecisionVault user, which is very great. Something else that we have coming out soon as well, I would like to share with you is the ability to view additional information regarding holdings. So I'm going to switch over to a different account here and show you something that we have coming out soon, where we've decided to consolidate our inventory and our accounting modules within the platform. And this will be dependent on the type of file that you open as you are opening your file in the platform. If you've opened a probate only file, it will combine and it will say your inventory here. But if you're opening an accounting and probate file, it will say accounting section here. Once you do select that, you'll be able to see here we've got just a combination of different pages, allowing you to see where you can have your transactions saved within your file, as well as some assets that you have here entered here, your liabilities as well, and some additional information up at the top for you too. One thing I did want to show specifically with this new feature is that we have a new lookup or a new layout for our investment accounts. I can show you here specifically for the holdings. Oh, I apologize. That's the wrong one. That's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you, my apologies, wrong one again. There we go. So as you can see there, it just has a bit of a different layout where it shows you our quantity, our symbol description, and if it's an original asset, as well as some average cost base, book value information, market value, capital gain, loss totals, and then also the date of death value. So again, just going into additional detail in terms of all of those holding pieces of information for you. This will be very helpful for our CPA clients, as well as people who are needing to keep track of very holding specific information. You'll be able to see that all on the front end now. You won't have to generate our holdings report to hopefully save you some time, which is wonderful. Lastly, the thing I would like to share with you, I believe, is our calendar integration we have coming out soon. And this is a very exciting one as well, because it will relate directly to the tasks section of the platform. So similar to our DecisionVault integration, I will just go into our integrations page up at the top right corner here, choosing the integrations page. There will be additional user-specific integrations. This is going to be an organization level integration where you will link up your overall DecisionVault to the Estateably account, whereas you will have a specific level of a user integration you can have set up on a personal level, including your Google Calendar, your Microsoft Outlook calendar, and then also Gmail and your Outlook email. In order to integrate and link those two together, similar process where you'd have to enable the integrations and go through the process of signing into your applicable accounts by clicking on the integration here and following the easy step-by-step process. We can also release a guide for anybody if it's necessary that you'd like to take advantage of this feature. We can share how to do that with you on a call or through any resources as well. And once you do have that Google Calendar, I'm using Google, but of course this will be applicable to if anybody's a Microsoft Outlook calendar integration or use that for your firm, it will be the same process as well. Once you have that set up, actually, it is very exciting because once we do go into a specific file, I will use my, perhaps let's use the file I opened through DecisionVault, just as an example, and I go directly to our tasks section. Once I do assign myself to a task, and once I set a due date for that task, I'm then able to go through the process of choosing the View Details button, which will open that drawer-like page, giving you a nice detailed task description, as well as taking advantage of all of the additional features here, like our subtask list and our notes feature. And you'll now see that we have this Sync to Calendar button. The reason this has appeared is because I've enabled the integration on my user level within the settings page, and it will allow me to choose this button here that will pull over the due date of this task and assign it and add it to my calendar on my Google Calendar. The reason this box populates here is just in case perhaps there was a user who had a Google Calendar as well as an Outlook calendar, you would be able to select the option here if necessary. Of course, in this case, I'm just selecting Google Calendar. Once I choose that sync button there, it will just have a nice window pop up and saying that my calendar has now synced. And if I were to go to my calendar, you will be able to see here that I have a all-day event that is saved as a task. If I click into that there, it will give me the name of the estate that this task is due for, as well as the description for you as well. If it is something you wanted to ensure was finished on a very timely, specific manner, that would be something that you can edit specifically in your calendar. Unfortunately, that's not something we currently provide in our system, so we weren't able to do it that way, but completely there for you if need be. You're then able to select the estate name here directly from within your calendar, and it will take you to that file and directly to that task as well, which is a great time saver to keep yourself organized. One thing to note as well, if by chance you needed to unsync or take this task off your calendar, any changes you make here, it will automatically be affected on your calendar as well. And so if I were to change the due date, it would be reflected on the calendar. If I remove it from here, it would also remove it from my calendar, whatever is necessary, depending on what is needed for you there. Perfect. So those are a couple great features that are coming very, very soon. I think I went through everything there on my side. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat or the Q&A section, excuse me, and my colleague Avery will be able to help as best as possible. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Marissa, who's going to go through our very exciting new investment import parser demonstration, and I will pass it back over to you there, Marissa.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Elsa. So let me share my screen. So as many of you, I think, at least from what I hear within the product team, a lot of people have been asking about and hearing about the ability to have a statement import specifically for your investment statements, to really be a huge time saver in terms of all the manual data entry that could be required to import and enter all of the holdings, their information, and then all of the associated transactions. So we've been hard at work on this, and we actually have a very nice working version that we have a very small select group of users who are currently in beta, basically trying it out, seeing how it works, and giving us feedback on it. So this is something we're super excited about. We wanted to do a demo for you right now. Let me just double check. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. So one thing to note, in terms of the statement import feature, some of you may have used the financial statement, like for bank statement import. So we have a lot more functionality as it relates to investment statements. We import the holdings as well as the transactions. We obviously create the links between those. But something to note about it is that it's built with an artificial intelligence model, right? So the nice thing about it is that it gets smarter the more statements it processes. So we can teach it as we go along. The challenge is that no two statements are the same. Every statement is different. There's no standards for how different institutions produce their statements, from everything from the layout, the column headers, the naming, the terminology, pieces of information that are or are not included. So it's a case by case, but the end-to-end flow I'm going to walk you through, show you how it works, and we're happy to answer questions. And I'll just get started then, because this is really what you guys want to actually see rather than me talking. So,
Hey, Marissa, could you just could you go full screen and just make it larger?
Yes, at one point I'm gonna just want to
Oh,
show
okay.
the statement that I'm
All
using.
right.
Yes, I will. So
Don't
just to
listen to me.
Okay, no, thank you for that. So just to show you, in my deceased investment account that I have here, if I look at my holdings, you can see it's empty. Okay, so I haven't actually uploaded anything. I'm starting from scratch. This is a new file, a new account. The statement that I'm going to be importing is here. And you can see we have, well, maybe you can see, I'm not sure. Let's do that. So we have a whole bunch of holdings. We had a treasury bill. We have different equities, go throughing that. And then we have our transactions. So we have some deposits withdrawals. We have a purchase. We have some dividends. So just so you understand what we're going to be working with today. So now I will go full screen for the time being. So to show you, in our current version in production, we have the document import investment statement section here, this link. I'm within the inventory right now. So that's where you would initiate it from. So when you click on this, you would have a place where you could upload your files, right? So you have to add them here so that we can actually parse them. I'm going to show you how you do that. So you would just here, you would click to upload. It would open your window. You could pick any of your files that are there, and then it would tell you that it's extracting. It will start doing that, and it will continue to do that in the background. In the meantime, you're able to leave this page, go about your work, and when it's done, you'll be notified either via the in-app notification center or in your emails, depending on what your communication preferences are that you've configured, but you can always leave and come back. Down here, you'll see the history of any files over time that you've imported and whether you validated them or completed them or not. So this one has already completed. You see it tells you how many transactions and how many holdings we've detected from like our actual extraction. I'm going to use this statement today. So you see it's just 12 transactions, 36 holdings found. Of course, if you need to remove it, if you decide you've, by accident uploaded the wrong file, you can do that as well. So you click validate now, and here you would be able to select from your list of accounts. If you have multiple accounts, you'll see all of the accounts here. In my case, as it's a new simple file, I only have my one investment account. The one thing to note is your account needs to be in managed status in order for it to appear in this list. So I select the account. Now, this type of modal may be a little bit different, whether you're in an estate, whether you're in a trust, or whether you're in a POA, and depending on the type of file you select. But here we have what type of upload is this, and here we have the choices initial position and file update. Initial position is, in the case that I'm in a deceased investment account, I need to be able to enter all of my original date of death holdings. So basically, by saying it's the initial position, we're letting the system know that any holdings that appear in my statement for which there are no purchase transactions in the current statement period, those will be things that the system will create as original assets. If I already had data or I wasn't dealing with a deceased account, then I wouldn't either see this or I would just select file update if this is, month 2, month 3 of whatever the account has. So initial position, I do that. I'm going to enter the dates of this statement period. And then you see opening cash balance. So you may see right now my opening cash balance based on the cash amount in this account is currently 0. I have the option of entering in whatever my starting cash balance was because this is a deceased account that was already obviously in existence. So I'm going to put in that amount that came from my statement. If I had already entered that into the system would have showed me that in that watermark. And then you have the date of death or you have your file start date, depending on if it's an estate or a trust or POA. If you need to change that date or see that something's wrong with it, you would go to the source page of the intake to edit that as you need to. So when you click next, you're going to land on this nice page with 2 tabs. You have your holdings and you have your transactions. So you'll see we have symbol, description, quantity, unit cost, market price, market value, and the ability to edit. We have these nice selectors here Basically, that's to allow us to deselect anything if for whatever reason we don't want to import everything at once. Maybe we have some questions about certain things or there's certain problematic records. You can deselect those as necessary, and but otherwise by default we assume everything's going to be selected. Okay. You see here all of my holdings have been extracted. I'm going to go into a split screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit. If I pull this over and you don't mind while I rearrange. So, sorry, this is at my purchase. This is my transactions. If I go back to my actual holding information. So you see here, I have my US Treasury bill as I have my I'm sorry, it's a little finicky. I'm going to close that just so you guys can maybe get a better view. So if I go down here to a lot of the equities, you can see the nice thing is also the way that we load the holdings is going to flow according to the order it is in the statement. So once you import it in our inventory, we sort everything alphabetically, but it's important to note that when you want to just kind of reconcile and review how we've parsed what's in your statement, it should follow exactly the order and layout of how things are organized, because oftentimes statements will group things by, asset class. And so you saw we had the Treasury bill first, but now we have equities. So you'll see here, you have, okay, so let's get to Amadeus. You have Amadeus here. You have your quantity. I have my quantity here. We display unit cost. As I said, in this statement, they show cost basis as a total underneath here. All the information will eventually be imported into Estateably, but for the purpose of what we can show on screen, these are the details we've highlighted. And depending on how the statement shows it, we'll either be showing it to you here or you'll only see it upon import, right? So you see the market price here, you have 66.87. And here, if I go to Amadeus, I have 66.87 as my market price. My total market value is 167,507.10 cents. And you have 167,507.10 cents. Now, if you need to edit anything for whatever reason, in this case, I don't, but say you want to modify the description, perhaps, you would obviously just hit your edit button, and then you can edit all of the details. You have a save and cancel, and you must save before you move on to edit another row. Then if we go to our transactions, you can see here all my transactions. And as we had said from the statement parser, there were around 12 transactions. This row is highlighted in red. So this is just a nice indicator to show you, when you look at this, the parser's maybe going to not detect everything, right? So if some of you are familiar with our existing financial statement parser, typically things all show up as uncategorized, and then you have to manage that in the system. We've taught it some default logic around how to categorize these things based on the information that we see in the statement. Now, again, with time, we can make that smarter. If there's different keywords that maybe the tool has never come across before, you could tell us those things and we can make it smarter for you. As always, as I mentioned, you can edit and you can change what these categories are. Or once in a blue moon, you will see something that is uncategorized, and then you can choose to do it in here, or you could update the category once you actually import it into Estateably. So the reason this is in red is because this is an investment purchase, and you could see here my holding column is blank. So in this case, it didn't pull in the associated holding, but you can see it as a nice feature for these dividend income transactions that we received. It did actually show which holdings those are associated to. So when we do import into the system, that link will be there. So that's a nice little feature. So if I say edit here and I click into the holding, I see all of my holdings that were available from my holdings tab or that exist in the account already in Estateably. So I'm going to select my US Treasury bill because that's what this purchase is related to, and I'm going to save it. Yeah, I think that those are kind of the main highlights I wanted to mention here. You also see we have the account type. So again, I'm in a Canadian case, so you're seeing capital and revenue. But if you were in the US, you would see your principal and income. These things, again, we suggest by default what it should be. If you want to change that, you're more than welcome to clean it up, update it as it makes sense. You can modify the dates. And again, you also have these selectors or, check boxes to exclude anything if you need to. So then you're going to hit validate because I'm happy with what my data looks like. It tells me there were no warnings, no issues, so I can move on to next. And now it's going to say my document is ready to be synced. So I'm ready to import it into Estateably. Here, it's going to actually say, right now in Estateably, the system's opening balance for this account was entered as 0 when I first created the account. But I've specified an opening balance of the cash amount that was in the account when I started in March. So I'm going to say I want to use my user specified opening balance that I entered at the start of this process. I say next, and now I'll be able to sync, and I will show you, once the sync is complete, all of the holdings. Another thing to note, it's we don't have a work in progress mode right now. So once you start this process of doing the validation, you kind of need to go from the beginning to the end in order to complete it. So if you were, say, reviewing the holdings, reviewing the transactions, and then you had to leave and come back later, you would have to start over again. So again, it's not that you're doing any work, you just have to start the review process. So we're looking to improve on that in the future and introduce that. So here you could see my file has been imported, it's been synced, and now if I just go back to my inventory and I open my account and I go to view holdings, you could see now that all of my holdings have been imported. As I mentioned, it's now going to be sorted alphabetically. So you see my Visa is my last one there. And I start off with the AMD. I have my quantity, I have my details. You could edit your holdings as you would normally. And if I go to accounting and I look at I only have one account. So you can see here, here's my opening balance. And then here are the transactions that imported. I have my transfers of my wired funds. I have all of my dividends that have come in. So all of this has imported. So that's what we wanted to show you.
Also, did you want to cover any additional items or?
I did, yeah. I had one question actually that I wanted to just do a quick demo of live, which was a great call out. Actually, I was going to mention this in my previous demo, but it was asked as a question, so I thought I would just slightly share my screen again, just hopefully if everyone's okay with that. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but we just did release something recently where you have a new consolidated version of adding in information in your asset and liability profiles within the inventory. We did just release a little bit of a design feature with that there. I am going to just replace your share if you're comfortable with that, Hillary, just to show it quite quickly from the Q&A section here. Wonderful.
Yep.
Where everyone will have noticed. And again, this is nothing too crazy, but it was mentioned, so I thought I would just do a quick demonstration. You'll see here just within the edit asset fields, a lot of the information is now side by side to consolidate that information for you, to just make it easier for you to tab through the adding of information within your inventory profiles. So that is something that is there for you to be able to walk through. And they're of course always specified depending on the type of asset or liability that you're entering. But that was a question I just wanted to very briefly do a quick demonstration of there for you as well. Avery, did you see anything else in the chat that you were in the Q&A that you'd like to answer live? Could be great.
Well, we had a great question from Christina, but I believe Christina's working potentially on the beta, so it's a pretty specific type of question, so we can maybe handle that offline.
Perfect.
I do have a question here from Sonia asking if they have to upload the statements monthly, and yes, you would have to anytime you do receive the statements. You could do them kind of all together essentially. So if you'd like, you can kind of get a bulk of them and then enter them month by month whenever you'd like to. But yes, each statement would have to be uploaded individually.
And just to clarify on that, because it is a great question. So if you are looking to do multiple months at a time, you can do it. We don't recommend it as best practice because it's worthwhile to, obviously it makes it a little more challenging to reconcile when you're doing it across 3 statements versus 1 at a time, as Avery said. There is kind of a way to do it if you'd like to, but then you have to make sure that you only upload one version of the holdings from the last period that you've included in that set of files, and all of those pages would have to be scanned into a single PDF document. So that's just something to note. And something that I didn't call out that I just wanted to, for those that are interested. So the features I had mentioned, I touched on it, that there's a very small beta group that is looking at this feature now. We will release this, widely to everybody at some point soon. We don't have a date there. But when we do, it will be widely available to anyone who wants to try it out. At that time, it will be free. And then sort of once we've kind of had it, in people's hands, people have used it and it's helpful, there will be a certain point where there will be pricing, additional pricing associated to the use of that. Of course, all of that information will come, in due time, but just wanted to give everybody the heads up in terms of how that will be working.
Well, thank you. Okay. Are we, anything else that we need to answer? Any last ones coming in here, Avery, Elsa? Well, we have all these folks with us.
Time, just have one about statements feature, if doing probate only also works. Yes, this will work on other probate trust files or in Ontario if you have a POA file as well.
Cool. Okay. I think we should.
One last one.
Oh, yeah, one more. Get in under the wire.
All right, so just give me 1 sec here. So it's going to be, is a reminder sent out when the yearly, yes, 100% Samantha. Whoever is the billing email address on with your firm essentially will always get a reminder to archive those files that might renew with that annual accounting charge. And also we do include instructions with that essentially with that email reminder of how to go ahead and archive those. So if somebody on your billing side is not receiving those, just reach out to support and then we'll go ahead and add them to your billing as an email address to receive those as well.
Cool. Thank you all. And thank you all for joining us. Elsa, Avery, Marissa, Bianca, thank you for your time. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Everybody.
Bye. Bye.